very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Friday edition of the show. It's the last one for the week. We promise to make you watch a while, Amiemi. Well, it's no longer news. The worst kept secret anyway. Ruben Amorim is now the manager, confirmed, of Manchester United. We'll be talking about that as we move on the show. English Premier League fixtures will get us talking as well. Then we will also look at what is happening with our own-based professionals. The CHAN qualifiers coming up. We'll be talking about all of that, all for you. We will also not forget to talk about the Nigeria Premier Football League matches for this weekend. That's the outlook of the show. As you already know, it's the two-man show. My colleague Austin Okonakman is suited and ready as we go along on this ride. All right, we'll bring in later on as we go on. But let's just start by discussing what I've tagged as the worst kept secret. Ruben Amorim now is the manager of Manchester United. They got the man they wanted. There are rumors that, of course, he had been approached earlier, and so, but now everything is sorted. No more rumors as it is. All right. So let's just quickly show to you some of the things you need to know about Ruben Amorim. He's the new manager of Manchester United. There you have it. He will be joining Manchester United on November 11. His first match as Manchester United head coach, and it's something that we'll discuss later on. He's being called a coach, not a manager. Nomenclature has changed these days in modern football. So he is the first. He is the first head coach of Manchester United, and of course, Amorim signed a contract until June 2027 with the option of a further year. All right, so that's the man who will be in charge. I want us to quickly listen to the man that has been put temporarily in charge. It will be in the saddle at the helm until this man in your picture takes charge. Manchester United legend Ruud van Nistelrooy. Let's listen to him. We'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
I was called upon to help the club forward in this situation, and obviously it was difficult, you know, and that Eric had to leave. I was very disappointed, obviously with mixed feelings, but after that you have to switch and the mindset to win, because in the end 75,000 people waiting and celebrating and millions watching at home. So I think that's what we try to do, and same for Sunday at least, and then after that we'll see. I decided to come back here for a very important reason, that I'm here, and as an assistant I came here to help the club forward, and I'm still very motivated to do so in any capacity, and as an assistant, and now as an interim manager, and after that I go back to my assistant contract that I have here for this season and next, and I'm very motivated to stay here and help the club forward. That's my absolute goal. No, I think in the end it's also clear in football that the results. It's the results, and Eric also said, hey, you know, we, as you say, in pre-season we had a new staff, and all very positive and working hard to bring the club forward. And obviously, there's things, you know, you can't explain sometimes. You know, I also remember the Brighton goal we scored, Ghana via Josh in, and then you concede the 2-1. You know, there's been so many games where we felt that we could get a better result for the way we played. I'm talking Palace, I'm talking West Ham, I'm talking Fenerbahce, I'm talking Porto. So, you know, but in the end we also know that it's about results, this game, and that's part of it, of our jobs.
All right, Manchester United legend Ruud van Nistelrooy speaking there on the new developments at Manchester United, and of course looking ahead to the days before Ruben Amorim takes the helm at the club. We're joined tonight. Mario joins us. Mario of Resolve Sports joins us now. Mario, greetings to you. Thanks for joining us on the show tonight.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to be on the show tonight again, and really look forward to our conversation.
All right, so let's just talk about it now. Ruben Amorim, nothing has happened yet, but how do you, the appointment, I mean, what are your immediate thoughts about Manchester United's approach and what they'll be expecting from the new manager?
Well, obviously, when you look into the selection process, obviously Manchester United was very clear who's going to be their first choice coach. It was Ruben Amorim. The conversations went very, very fast. I mean, very rarely you can see a coach being sacked or released from his duties on a Monday afternoon, Monday evening, and on Friday the solution and the new manager has been selected and being announced. And obviously also with, let's say, a little bit of time lapse, because obviously they were very certain that he comes in, but it was very clear for Ruben Amorim and his release clauses he had in his contract that it could not be an immediate choice. So Manchester United is patient enough for 2 weeks or 10 days to wait upon him. When the international break comes, then he will take on his duties. And therefore, I think there has not been many selections, many choices. Ruben Amorim was the number one target. The conversation went very swift, very, very fast. Ruben Amorim was impressed, and obviously it did impress the decision makers at Manchester United. So for me, it was very clear. There was not many alternative on the bucket list of Manchester United or on the short list of Manchester United, and therefore Ruben Amorim was their choice and indicated the availability, and that's why Erik ten Hag was released and Ruben Amorim announced.
Okay, I want to ask you, Leo, what do you think is the most realistic target for Manchester United, the owners of the club? A new man is at the helm. The season didn't start well. What do you think? They've not told us what it is. Some of us are already saying if they manage to get into the top four. But for the owners of the club, even though they've not made it public, what do you think in all of this could be the most realistic target?
From a season perspective, we also heard Ruud van Nistelrooy discussing it. I mean, from a season perspective, the players, they wanted to be signed. They have been signed. The format and everything, the playing style was very, very clear. The results was very disappointing. And Manchester United, from their squad list, from the players they have in the squad, is a top 5 team. And obviously the new manager has got not a lot of time to get adjusted. He needs to deliver results. Because ultimately the board of directors and obviously the sporting director is very clear that it needed that trigger, it needed that severe decision to release Erik ten Hag, to get the dressing room realigned, to get all the frustration and all the excuses out of the way. And Ruben Amorim now, obviously, the key task is that he gets the team up to the spirit, up to winning, and obviously up on the league table. And I'm very, very sure that international qualification and ideally a top 4 finish is the expected goal of the board of directors at Manchester United.
All right, quick one. Before we begin to look at the fixtures and every other thing, Cristiano Ronaldo questioned a few things before he left. Do you think that all that is required for Manchester United to turn things around is just a new manager? Or from an administrative standpoint, there are things that Manchester United need to do with regards to the structure of the club and how the activities of the club is being run?
We all know, over the past 2 years, 3 years, that Manchester United is not only a dressing room and a sporting team, that there are issues around, that everything is compared to Alex Ferguson, that there is a power struggle within the organization. Obviously, we all also know that the previous full owners, the Glaziers, obviously have used Manchester United kind of really as a cash cow and kind of did not invest into the infrastructure. So yes, I mean, the answer to your question is Manchester United needs an overhaul in all areas, in all districts. At the moment, it doesn't look like a very big club, but obviously it has the squad, to be ready to compete for the highest possible competitions and titles. And obviously that's what is expected from the squad. While everything else on the surroundings of Manchester United also needs to be considered, reviewed, analyzed, and obviously put in place. A sporting director, a sporting department, very clear on the responsibilities. Ruben Amorim has been announced, obviously, as a manager, as a head coach, and not as kind of the overall manager. So that's the first step of getting things aligned and getting everything in order. And therefore, I'm very, very hopeful with the squad, so with the people Manchester United now has hired and are starting their functions inside the organization, that this obviously is a high priority for Ineos and the new owners and the operational ownership to get it fixed and get the best possible people to do the job. But it will take time.
It will take time, and that's what most of the fans don't like to hear. And so, again, you've said it. Everybody always liked to remember the good old days when you had Sir Alex Ferguson there. There were a few times under Mourinho, under departing manager Erik ten Hag, where they won titles. Those kind of days, how soon? You've talked about time, but how soon? Because you look at a man within the space of 4 years of his 4 or 5 years of his coaching career has won titles. He's won the League Cup. He's won the league title. So how long, if all things go well, do you think it might take Amorim to get United to the point where they start winning titles?
We always heard about Erik ten Hag, that he said he's the most honored manager besides Pep Guardiola. So he is kind of right. I mean, he wants the League Cup, he wants the FA Cup last season. So he's proven that the team is able to compete. And I think what we expect is obviously that on international soil, on domestic cup competitions, there is much shorter results requirements or wins required to reach a final. That's going to be the ultimate aim. But any manager at Manchester United don't have time to develop. We are in a peak part of the season. He needs to deliver results. So the first thing Ruben Amorim will focus on is on the squad, on the team. There are rumors, obviously, that he doesn't like 4 or 5 players. I would not comment on these rumors because obviously these are typical media areas or media topics which we are around at this moment in time. I mean, through social media, everything gets kind of transparent. Everything is kind of being constantly discussed, and everything is like a whirlwind of conversations. I think let Ruben Amorim get his job initially done, get the choices for his squad. I wish for him the best, a winning start, because it's another midfielder who kind of takes the role as a head coach, and we all know that midfielders so far have delivered. They are great coaches. Pep Guardiola, midfielder. Xavi, midfielder. Hansi Flick, also kind of defensive midfielder. So many midfielders are taking on the roles at clubs, and obviously they deliver success stories. So I hope and wish Ruben Amorim a successful start at Manchester United, and most of all a very, very good ending with Sporting Lisbon, because obviously coming with a point record of more than 2.8 points per game win, that means that out of 4 games he wins 3. So that's a great track record for Sporting Lisbon domestically. And I think if he can get his choices right, if he gets the dressing room aligned and the dressing room behind him, that the team is really united and not Manchester divided. It's a Manchester United inside the dressing room. I think we can expect some good news and a good start for him.
All right. So, I mean, the situation is the modern manager doesn't really have time. He has to deliver. And, of course, there is the honeymoon period where people are not too critical. Then when you get past the honeymoon time, then you're expected to deliver. For Ruben Amorim, in his own case, how long do you think the honeymoon period will last? There will be a period of time where the critics might be a bit patient, but how long do you think that will last? Will it be 3 months, 6 months, 5 months? How long will it get before the daggers start coming out, before the criticisms start coming out?
I would expect it to be 4 to 6 weeks, to be honest. I don't expect it to be 3 months or 6 months. Yeah, in modern days there is no time. Yeah, but he comes in, yeah, with the peak season. Obviously there's an international break. That's great. So he's got like 8-9 working days to get the team known. But on the other hand, what does he see from the team he knows? Because half of the squad being at international duties, being with their respective national teams, so he will come into Manchester United kind of in a hot seat, and that's why he will do a lot of video analysis. And I also think when you look into Manchester United overall, I mean they keep all the staff, yeah, they keep, and Ruben Amorim just comes in, so obviously he can rely on the existing squad, which is usually very surprising because usually a new manager or a new head coach brings at least his assistant coach with him and joins in. But we heard it from Ruud van Nistelrooy. After his caretaker role, he will come back into the role and take on the assistant role. So that will be good for Ruben Amorim to kind of have that infrastructure. But like I said, I don't think that this situation will be easy because there are every time political things involved and kind of adjustments. Face values, and Erik ten Hag at the end of the day has just been the victim on kind of the results and kind of the overall kind of pressure from fans, from investors, from shareholders, from media that he was released in office duties. Obviously in an interview in the Telegraph in the Netherlands, there's been some discussion that obviously he wanted to put out his role already in the summer, but Ineos kind of committed or in conversation, obviously, was agreed to continue. So there was always kind of a distance between the head coach, Erik ten Hag, all the staff and everything. And obviously that bond obviously has just been so heavily impacted by the negative results. I mean, 14th in the league table, it is not the expectation from a Manchester United fan. It's not the expectation of the media. It's not the expectation of the team or anybody at Manchester United. So, like I said, we can only hope that this one change, that the style of play will be impacted, and Ruben Amorim has a lucky choice in the selection of his team, finds the right balance within the dressing room, gets the full team behind him, because obviously for all the player Erik ten Hag benched, it's now a new opportunity, and everybody can prove it to be right and rightly positioned. And obviously that's a possibility, a release effect. But this is what we're going to see already this weekend when the team lines up.
All right, Mario, we need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, we'll still be talking about the English Premier League and all the other issues. For instance, Ruud van Nistelrooy, was a good decision to keep him on since he was part of the former crew. All of that, Mario will help us give insight to all of that. We need to go on a break right about now. Still so much for you. Join us again. All right, welcome back. My colleague Austin Akpan has, of course, overcome all the ordeals and all the obstacles. He's with me now. Greetings to you, Austin. Another good day to talk sports.
Sporty greetings to you, Yemi, and of course, Mario, that has been giving the analysis on Amorim. Good to be on the show. Crazy day with technology, but I'm glad to be on the program. Let me just get straight into it with Mario before we let him go. Mario, I've been looking at Manchester United and all of the problems they've been through with Ten Hag. No disrespect to Amorim, his records looks good, but don't you think they're making another mistake getting a very young manager?
That's absolutely right. I mean, that's what I said, because obviously the decision makers at Manchester United set their goals at Ruben Amorim. He's 39 years old. Sporting Lisbon is his first real exposure to European football. So there are heavy risks involved. And maybe Manchester United looked into Germany, where Vincent Kompany kind of leads FC Bayern to an okay or quite a comfortable start in the Bundesliga, top of the table, scoring goals like a machine. Also a very young manager. Maybe that's been the role model or the principle of Manchester United. And like I said, I mean, I hope it, but it's the risks are quite high, to be really honest. And it's a tough gamble, especially knowing that there is no quiet time at Manchester United, because obviously you have all the stakeholders kind of, the political framework is very, very tough. It's not only coaching your team, it's much more. And I think Bayern is a more calm environment. And like I said, I can only hope and wish for Ruben Amorim to be fine, because when you look into the contract, Austin, a 1 3/4 year contract is kind of the least a new manager kind of request. So the Manchester United board didn't go all in on him. So there is kind of a calculated risk with that involved as well already. Mm. So that kind of will come. If the results don't come, if the first 2-3 games are not going well, then obviously it's going to be really, really tough, a tough mission for him.
I know, because I've been looking at his body language and trying to understand if he really wants this job. It's actually good when you're being poached, and a lot of good things are being said about him in the media, but body language is important. And then let's take a look at where Ten Hag struggled also. The management of the players. If Ten Hag could struggle, won't Amorim struggle?
Yeah, very, very right. I mean, and I think Erik Ten Hag also had this aura or this kind of facial impression, where obviously the media kind of really wanted to get him and try to kind of lure him into areas of discomfort and everything. So that's why I hope that Amorim is really more comfortable. But I just looked obviously this afternoon at the schedule when he comes in, when he takes over. So obviously the first match in charge will be Ipswich Town away, which is a must-win. Then he plays home in the European League matchday 5 against FK Bodo Glimt, which is a must-win. And then obviously comes the home match against Everton and then away match to Arsenal. So and just 4 weeks or 3.5 weeks into his role is the Manchester Derby on December 14th. So there's not a room for mistakes. So he needs to find his top 11 very, very quickly. He needs to get these top 11 in shape in the first 2 matches. Then obviously the self-confidence of the players should be strong enough to face the more challenging ones. And Everton is kind of then the final test before the big matches come in. So I think that obviously played into consideration as well. And like I said, I can only hope and wish for Ruben Amorim to be successful in the first matches, because obviously then if he isn't, immediately kind of more destruction, more pressure comes in.
I know, and then the English media will not spare him. They won't want to know if he's still new on the job. They took out Ten Hag, they would definitely come for him also. Since Mario has talked about the Premier League and what you should be expecting from Ruben Amorim, I think we should just get into the Premier League.
Yeah, we'll do just that. I'll go across now and reel out the fixtures. We'll listen to 1 or 2 of the managers and take it from there. Let me just quickly go across now. And these are the fixtures for tomorrow. The Gunners, Arsenal, with all kinds of problems with injuries. They'll be traveling to St. James's Park. They will be facing Newcastle United. Bournemouth will take on Manchester City. There you have newcomers, Ipswich Town, up against Leicester City, who are just coming back themselves. Liverpool will be up against Brighton. Remember, these 2 sides is played against each other in the EFL Cup. Let's look at other fixtures on Saturday. Nottingham Forest will take on West Ham. Southampton will take on Everton. Wolverhampton Wanderers will take on Crystal Palace. These matches will be played on Saturday. Let's look at the remaining fixtures. On Sunday, Tottenham Hotspur will take on Aston Villa. Of course, Manchester United will take on Chelsea. Manchester United taking on Chelsea. That's a very big game. Then on Monday, the last fixture for Monday, Fulham will take on Brentford. That's the Monday fixtures. Of course, the game that will get all-star game. Of course, there's been a lot of It's been overshadowed by the issues surrounding the departure of Erik ten Hag. It's the game Manchester United and Chelsea. Let's quickly listen to the Chelsea manager, Enzo Maresca. Then I'll get, of course, Mario to share his thoughts on the progress made so far by Chelsea.
I didn't speak with Ruud. I will give him a big hug on Sunday before the game, and yeah, we expected a tough game. So, first of all, fantastic guy, humble, very professional. Unfortunately, I share with him time when he was already finished in terms of play, but even with that, you can see how good he was. So, but first of all, the best thing is that we had a very good group of human beings in that time with Malaga. So it's always nice to to remember that kind of moment. We didn't win then since 2014. Oh, yeah, hopefully it's a good time. I hope so. That show how difficult is that stadium. Not only for us, for every club, and we're gonna try to do our best and try to win the game. We prepared the game to win in the last game against the Newcastle Carabao. Unfortunately, we lost, but we prepare every game to try to win. And the reason why we make changes, I said many times, is not because there is A team or B team. We are all one team. The only reason is because they all deserve to play. Some of them, they are playing in the Premier League game, some of them in the Conference or Carabao. But in one game, in two games, they can change. The ones that they are playing in Carabao and Conference, they can play Premier League game and in the other side. So I said already 2-3 times that for me, we have 24, 25 outfield players, and there is only one team, only one squad. And what we try to do is to share minutes with all of them.
Enzo Maresca, the Chelsea manager, sharing his thoughts. Mario, let me get your thoughts. Is this a good time for Chelsea to play Manchester United? And how far has Chelsea progressed in the few matches under Enzo?
I think it's not really a good time for Chelsea to play Manchester United. Obviously, it's like somebody put the throttle on for Manchester United, because obviously the players knew that the manager is under pressure. The players couldn't turn it around. The results were really not great. Erik ten Hag didn't find the right solution. So now this throttle is gone, and obviously everybody wants to prove now that obviously their individual time has come and their chance is there. So it's not an easy time, and it's a tough test. And I'm really not surprised, but I'm actually very happy the way Enzo Maresca has tackled Chelsea FC, because obviously when you have 35 players, because obviously Chelsea bought an incredible players in the last 3 transfer windows, that he kind of really got a structure into his team, into his squad, and then obviously then is now able to get results on his team sheet, and obviously with every result taken into board, obviously the belief in Enzo Maresca, the belief of the team, the belief of the fans, the English media is less pressuring him, and Chelsea sits in 5th place. So he's done a great job for a new manager coming in these circumstances of Chelsea FC, and I think he's doing fine. And obviously there has been the setback obviously of losing away to Liverpool, because obviously that was a critical game to close the gap to the top. He's lost it, but then obviously they bounced back against the home victory in the league against Newcastle. And as Enzo Maresca just mentioned in the press conference, obviously the Carabao Cup is sort of the least of the importance of all cups of all competitions for Chelsea FC. That's why he did make a tremendous change. They lost 2-0, but obviously he also said that he starts every game to win the game. And obviously Chelsea's next 2 league matches are very, very critical and are decisive of where the journey of Chelsea FC goes. So they play on match day 10 now away to Manchester United, which you mentioned is coming Sunday. And then 1 week later, they are in the in the London derby at home against Arsenal. And obviously these 2 games are very, very, very important for Enzo Maresca, for Chelsea FC, and the remainder of the season. Although it's just match day 10 and 11 and 12, but everything counts. Yeah, there is no time to let points drift away, because Manchester City collects the points, Liverpool FC collects the points. So you need to make sure you keep your point tally nicely and comfortable.
Totally agree with you, Mario. We're approaching week 10, so teams must start winning now. But if you take a look at Chelsea versus Manchester United, I think it's advantage Chelsea, Manchester United versus Chelsea, because no pressure, as you mentioned, on Enzo Maresca and his team. And Manchester United needs to start winning and getting all the points that they can get now. Another team that is under pressure to win is Arsenal, and it's not been good for them whenever they travel to St. James's Park. Let's listen to talking points coming out of that big game. Early kickoff tomorrow. Newcastle taking on Arsenal.
Well, you want to be first. You want to win every game. We know the situations that we have to play with this season, but we are right in the mix. We know that the tough challenge that we're going to face tomorrow, but we are fully ready for that. Part of the past and part of the situation that happened, that you learn from it, you take a lot of positives as well, and we moved on. A lot of things happened that we didn't even plan for them. I was suspecting, with the size of the squad, that we had to be very adaptable in the season, and that's something that we worked from day one in pre-season. But obviously not to be that adaptable, especially in certain scenarios. But for sure the team showed an incredible capacity to compete, to be better than the opponent in many moments. But it's true that in the second half, very early again, something happened that affected the rest. But we are there.
Mikel Arteta, Arsenal's manager, speaking on the team's mentality as they get ready to take on the Magpies tomorrow, week 10 of the Premier League. And Mario, I look at both teams' last 5 matches, and it says win, loss, win, draw, win for Arsenal. For Newcastle, it's win, draw, loss, and a win. So it's almost the same form they are both suffering at the moment. When you take a look at Arsenal's last Premier League result against Bournemouth, you say to yourself, this is the sort of game they should be winning. Does the Gunners have any chance against Newcastle tomorrow?
I think they have a chance, absolutely, because obviously that's expected from Arsenal. Yeah, when you come into a big match like that. But obviously, St. James's Park is not only 11 versus 11. Yeah, the home ground is incredibly loud, incredibly noisy, incredibly supportive, and will obviously give Arsenal a very, very hard time. Obviously, Arsenal's kind of fan support, we've been not wondering, obviously, but we see a shift in the support as well, and Emirates has become very loud as well, very vocal behind the goal, kind of like Arsenal Ultras, as we know here in Germany, with the standings and everything being very, very loud and being really a fierce opponent for it. So I think Arsenal has a chance. But obviously, Arsenal does miss a couple of players, and you can see that Ødegaard's kind of central midfield role is heavily missed, because obviously he covers ground. He runs like for 2 or 3 midfielders. So now obviously Kai Havertz, the offensive players, have to do more backwards defensive work, which obviously kind of destabilized or imbalanced the shape of the team. And that's Arsenal's biggest struggle, obviously. So when a key player like Ødegaard goes out, they struggle in the balance, and that could be tomorrow quite decisive, because obviously Newcastle got great wings, got a great striking force, and obviously that pressure will come, and I hope that Arsenal don't concede a goal in the first 15-20 minutes, because then it's really an uphill task for them.
And beating Chelsea in the Carabao Cup is a good form Newcastle will take into that game against Arsenal.
Exactly. I mean, it was a close encounter against Chelsea already last week. It was really, really a very, very exciting match in the league, and obviously for Newcastle United bouncing back, beating then the same opponent a few days later, obviously gained their confidence. And like I said, you don't want to travel to St. James's Park. It's not an easy ground, and I look forward to this competition tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. So thank you so much, Mario, for your time on the show. We'll get to talk to you some other time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Wish you a good night and a good remainder of the show, Austin.
Awesome. Thanks so much, sir. That's it. Mario speaking to us from his base in Germany. Yeah, I know there's so much to talk about. We might not have time to continue with the EPL, but do you want to stay with it or we move to the CHAN or the Nigeria Premier Football League?
Yeah, we just do a mention for the Nigeria Premier Football League, then we'll talk about the CHAN. I'll go across now because we're pressed for time, and let's quickly do this and get it out of the way. Sunday's fixtures, match day 10, Nigeria Premier Football League up next, and that's what we're talking about. Bayelsa United will be up against the Aba Elephants, Ayimba. Of course, Elkanemi Warriors will take on Katsina United. Abia Warriors will take on Inaze Millionaires. We're talking about Heartland here. Hakwa United, the Promise Keepers, will be up against Kwara United. Ikorodu City will try on Rivers United for size. These matches will be played match day 10. Kano Pillars will be up against Plateau United. These two sides have similar jerseys. It's going to be interesting which ones they both put on. Niger Tornadoes will try on. We square off with Shooting Stars. Rangers International, the Flying Antelopes, will be up against Nasro United. Sunshine Stars, the Kure Gunners, will be up against Bendel Insurance. Then, of course, Remo Stars will take on Lobby Stars. In a battle of stars, one will shine, one will be dim. We'll wait to see which one it is. Now, as the African Nations Championship approaches, Coach Augustine Guevon has been preparing his team. And as you already know, the players will be coming from these teams that you have on your screen. Players picked from all of these teams. And of course, he's been happy with what he has seen. With what he's seen of the players, he's had time to work with them. They've returned to their clubs for the upcoming matches. But here is the man we call Zerezo, Augustine Guevon, sharing his thoughts on these players and what to expect from the CHAN team.
Impressive, only 2 sections, but you can see that technically they're very good. We still have a lot of work to do because they're coming from different clubs. And we have to try to see how we can blend them now and make them play as one team, as one unit. So I think at least there is time enough to do that. I like to work hard and select the best players out of this group that we have now to face Ghana come December. We know how tough it is to play against Ghanaian team. Any category we meet in Ghanaian team is always very tough. Well, we praise for luck, but for the game, we'll go out there and work hard and make sure we strategize to make sure we're in the nest and CHAN.
All right, all the best to the CHAN team. That's a team that I would love to see qualify. It's not been good in recent times. The Olympic men's football team as well. And these are issues we need to fix. And it can only be fixed if we get it right with our domestic league. We need to get it right with our domestic league. Austin, even though we're pressed for time, but we have to say it. Our FIFA coach, Augustine Guevon, you're working with some players now. You get to November, when they go to count again, it might not be seen. Those players, 40% of them, of those players he worked with, might have been off to some countries for trials, and you have to start all over again.
That's right. That's the problem, and that's why we've been saying that we need to fix the league, make it viable, so players will find a reason to stay back home, build, and get to represent Nigeria in this sort of important competition such as the CHAN. But at the moment, what we've seen with the league, the quality that we've seen in 9 weeks shows that Cerezo has got quality players to work with. People have been asking me, why is Ahmed Musa not part of the team? The rule, one of the regulations for the CHAN states that players that will represent their countries in the CHAN must be home-based. Ahmed Musa is part of that, but must have permanent contracts. He has a short-term contract with Kano Pillars. I hope this explains it. Oyemi, I totally agree with you. Some of these players are even hoping to use this small recognition that they will get from the CHAN to just get out of the country and play better football outside Nigeria.
Yeah, we'll see. We need to get it right. We need to start qualifying for these tournaments. All right, Austin, let me allow you to do the honors. We're pressed for time. We're about to cross the finish line. Let's talk about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. And one of the forwards has a message we need to listen to.
That's right. And what a display, that doubleheader. We loved it. We saw what they did in Ikene and in Lagos. They played quality football. I talked about it. I like the fact that this is a good one for for the coach to, look at the players and see whether he can work with them. I like the fact that some players are coming into the team new and they didn't show like they're new to the team. It's a good one for Coach Justin Makudu and his team. Let's listen to some of the talking points from that one. Listening to Gift Monday and some other players. They are advocating for more home-based players. We are saying develop the league and you will see more home-based players. Let's listen to Gift Monday on the show tonight.
Coming out to play with the home-based players, and we are all playing for the first time as a team. It wasn't an easy task, but yeah, we were quick to understand each other, and yeah, like I said, it was a good start. And with time, we're going to get to know each other better because I feel like we should have scored more goals than we did. Playing with my fellow ex-teammates, it was nice. Like the confidence was there, I was not scared of making mistakes because I knew that there are people that are going to cover me, So the confidence was like ×3 for me, and I was so relaxed. And yeah, I think it was obvious, and I like it. I want to play with them more. There's no much difference between the home base and the foreign base. It's just, for me, it's just opportunity to be called foreign base. So yeah, we are equal to the task. Anytime we've been called upon, the thing that is normal for both the home base and the foreign is the art, is the mindset of coming to the Super Falcons and giving all their best. So I think it will be a great decision if they merge both together.
I like that she's advocating for more home-based players here, but let's be sincere, it's not the same gift, Yes, determination, commitment, spirit, passion. But in terms of, we always say it here, infrastructure, standards, there's still so much that we need to do as a country.
Yeah, there is. And all of those things you mentioned will produce one word we call exposure. That is the difference. So if she says there's not much difference, I know she means well, but look, once you get used to all of those things you mentioned, there's something that rubs off on you, and you put yourself side by side an home-based player who has heart, who is determined. It won't still be the same with all the determination. And that's why we need to fix things here.
I agree.
All right. With that, we cross the finish line. We're going to be having our parting shot, so let me allow Austin go first.
Yeah, that's it. I like the fact that we're ending again with a reminder to football administrators in Nigeria that we need to do more. Gift Monday says it would be good to have a blend of foreign and home-based players, but we need to do the work. So it comes close to what they are doing abroad that speaks international standards. I'm glad I finally made it on the show tonight, all thanks to technology. That's it. In London, I'm Austin Okonakwan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
It's a wrap here in Lagos as well. Of course, you're going to see us again next week. This is the last one for the week. Before we go, I want to leave you with highlights, tennis highlights from the Paris Masters. We urge you to enjoy your weekend. We'll see you again next week. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.